Damn, y'all feel that?
Yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. A message to all you pseudo spitters. The sound is cool, but the trend I see is the truth is missing. I feel the flow is stupid. You claim that the music's different. I guess it's all opinion, depending on who was listening.
What's the word, y'all? It's KTR Sport Podcast. Hashtag KTR. We are KTR. We're back in the building for a little special edition bonus episode for y'all. This is going to be episode 77.5. 77.5 episode, live and direct, no roast podcast. We got a little special moment because of episode 77, we recorded a little bit too early because a couple of things had popped out after we had made our recording for the episode. So this is the bonus episode for y'all. Episode 77.5, live and direct, no roast podcast. I know how my brothers are feeling today. It's a holiday weekend. They are off work. They at the crib. So we just going to get the show on the roll real fast and move it on. First and foremost, Big Harv's so-called best in the world wrestler has been removed, terminated, fired from All Elite Wrestling. And we're gonna let Big Harv elaborate on that real quick because no, he was literally speaking about this man on his episode 76. And what happened? An episode and a half later, boom, this happened. So Big Harv, tell me about your thoughts of CM Punk.
Hey, man, it's been a rough week for me, man. All right? We lost Bray Wyatt. Now we lost goddamn CM Punk. It's crazy. But though I don't believe a termination was necessary, I do believe that hopefully he learns to stay out of other people's goddamn business. He is his worst enemy. His own worst enemy is CM Punk. And I get that a lot of the time he's trying to help, but he also seems like he feels obligated or that he feels entitled to people listening to him as a locker room leader. It sounds like he was trying to give good advice. The advice didn't work, and so he acted like he was Jack Perry's age, when he's actually about twice that young man's age. So I'm actually disappointed more in Punk, also in Khan's decision, but I can't say that it was a bad decision. It was bad going into the shows that happened on this past weekend. Everything was in Chicago. But business standpoint, eventually the guy's going to start being a liability, cost you money. So I kind of get it.
J-Bo.
I'm sort of with Harv. I don't agree with how he got let go, but I do agree with them letting go. I don't agree with how he was let go because if any of the articles, the stories, the rumors, the tabloids, if any of it is true, what they're saying is that there was glass that was used for the segment for Jerry, what's his name? Jack Perry. Jack Perry in his match and Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy Jack Perry. But there was safety glass already prepared for him for the match. Jack Perry wanted to use actual glass, but Punk was like, hey, man, you don't have to. There's some safety glass here available for you. But Jack Perry was like, no, I don't want to do it. And obviously that's not the route he took, which led to an altercation between Jack Perry and CM Punk. So if that was the reason why he got fired, I mean, out of all the things that CM Punk has been through within his career, that's honestly like the last one he should have got fired for, because if anything, out of principle, he was just looking out for the young gun. He really was. But at the same time, I do agree with letting him go. We, as Cinko mentioned on episode 76, we discussed, how CM Punk, he didn't have the best reputation with the WWE. So then he was gone. He not much history with UFC, but that didn't even last long. And now in AEW, that didn't last long. And even though this may or may not have been his fault, trouble follows Punk. Not his fault, but trouble follows Punk. And for Tony Khan and AEW, it was honestly best to go ahead and cut ties now. He just got done with an issue about a year or so ago with Omega and the Young Bucks in AEW, and he's only been there for almost 2 years fully. Like it has not been that long, and he's had these issues. On top of all of that, this isn't the same in-ring CM Punk we had 10 or so years ago. So even though he is a high draw, even though he's a big name, you're still not going to get the same CM Punk that capitalized off the pipe bomb, that had great matches, that really elevated himself in the WWE. You got the result. You got the aftermath. You got a 10-year plus old CM Punk. So you're not going to get what you're going to invest your money into anyway. So AEW will be fine. Chicago will probably be pissed for a while, but eventually they'll be fine too. So overall, cutting ties with him, it was obviously the best decision going forward.
I told y'all how I felt about CM Punk when we had that episode 76. Didn't care, didn't have anything to say. Still got nothing to say. You know, it is what it is. I'm sorry because I'm never for somebody ever losing their job on any way, shape, or form to provide for their family and their loved ones and everything like that. But at the same time, it's like you need to work on some personal things. That's all. That's neither here nor there. Also, no, I think the timing of it was just ironic. Like it just happened so sudden. Like, oh, we're in Chicago. Like, let's do it so we can have more exposure. That's how I think it worked out that way. I'm like, y'all kind of petty for doing that to them. At that time, at least show some type of remorse. Like that, the way you got let go was petty. That's why I was like, yeah. So y'all just y'all in Chicago before the show started.
It felt like if you work a 9 to 5 and you finna get fired, and then everything started getting awkward because they reported that nobody was there to pick him up at Wembley. You know what I'm saying? They canceled the meeting that he had set up, and everybody agreed with the elite. They canceled that right before it happened. So it felt like when you get in trouble at work and they tell you to log out. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was hilarious. In that regard, it was funny, but it was petty, man.
Like, no, log out your computer. Like, what you think? Come to my office. Then you come back to your desk, everything gone. The computer,
everything gone. Cleaned out
computer, the keyboard, software, everything.
Oh man.
Yeah, but like with that being said, what do you think is next for CM Punk's future?
Just chill, man. You don't got to do nothing else in wrestling. Just chill. You've already made your impact. Despite the backstage drama that you may or may not have been a part of, in the ring, on camera, you've already solidified yourself in a position that you're going to be remembered for a while. You're going to be known as one of the greatest to come out of Chicago. There's nothing else to prove. There's nothing else you need to do in wrestling. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
I agree. I think, unfortunately, it's time for my guy to hang him up. As far as wrestling goes, as far as UFC goes, he needs to focus maybe backstage, some type of producer somewhere, commentary even. He's had so many things outside of wrestling going on that he could focus on. His wife has charities. She's running, I think, Glimmer now. He could put his input there. He's written comic books. He's been in movies. He could do a lot. I feel like he really feels that that's his place in the wrestling business or in a contact sport type environment. But even if it's like we keep saying, it might not have even been all his fault, but it follows you. And really the damage has been done enough in enough companies that it feels like it's not going to get any better. That perception is not going to change in the amount of time that you have left to live and be in that type of career and be active and visible. You know what I'm saying? So, it's time. Focus on something else.
Impact Wrestling, here we come. That's just my 2 cents right there. I have no idea what he's gonna do after y'all say a bunch of stuff. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna shoot for the ladder. Gonna say Impact Wrestling. All right, cool. Moving on to our last topic of the day. Like I said, just a quick snippet bonus episode. We are going to talk about something that kind of threw us for a loop. We were talking about this in the group chat as the payback was going on with the PLE. And Harv mentioned there was some awkward booking going on during that show. And one of those awkward bookings that did happen was that we got first and foremost, actually. Well, no, we can go into it. Yes, the awkward booking that we got from that show was the return of main event Jey Uso.
Mm-hmm.
But he's on a separate brand show from the Bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes brought out and announced Jey Uso was going to be coming back to WWE on Monday Night Raw on the Grayson Waller Effect show. Threw me for a loop because now I'm just confused about this whole Bloodline storyline now. I have no idea what's to come next. Jimmy and Jay Uso are now singles wrestlers within an environment where tag team wrestling is heavily needed, and that tandem is heavily needed in tag team wrestling. So them splitting apart, and I have no idea what's going on. No words. J-Bo, you want to speak on this first real quick before I headline it at the end?
Yeah. I honestly don't think this split is going to last as long as they're perceiving it to be. I think this split will only lead up until an eventual match at WrestleMania, and then after that, they're going back together. Let's be real here. If you look at history, we already can agree that the Usos is arguably one of the greatest tag teams of our generation. We already know that. However, if you look deeper in history, if you were to ask which one is the better Uso, I think most people will agree it's Jay, okay, because he had the opportunity to be a main event star, especially with his matches with Roman Reigns and all that stuff. So this singles career, in my opinion, even though I don't think it's going to last long, it's still good for both. It's good for Jay, especially since he's on a different roster. Whereas, like, are you a great singles competitor because of what you did with Roman Reigns, or are you really a good singles wrestler because you're a good singles wrestler? And him being on Raw is an opportunity to say that. Then if you look at Jimmy, again, if you look at history, you'll probably say Jay Uso is the better Uso. This is the opportunity for Jimmy to say, wait a minute, I can also get into the ring and show my singles prowess as well. Unfortunately, he's not going to have the planets to line up like they did with Jay, where it was sort of unexpected and Jay shined. It's sort of already out there, but it does give Jimmy an opportunity to, okay, well, let me try it on the singles run. Again, at the end of the day, they're just going to do this to where one day at WrestleMania, they're going to go one-on-one. I don't see it turning into a series type of match. I think it's going to be one-on-one. They'll probably make up after that, and then they'll end the rest of their career as a tag team. So separate. This is temporary, but it's good for both of them. There's nothing else they can do in the tag team realm anyway. We talked about how the Bloodline storyline is getting dry anyway. Great. This is something different. Is it expected? No. Is it something that we need? No, but it's different. It's different. It's something that could work in their favor. But at the end of the day, they're going to be a tag team again by May of next year.
Big hole.
As we said, when this happened, it was ill-conceived at the time, and I feel like they just jogging in place at this point, and it's going to hurt. I don't feel like this storyline can really lose, but it is hurting the storyline as a whole. Even the explanation, I was really hoping they'd be able to pull something out, which it's not a bad explanation with him trying to protect his brother from becoming corrupted like Roman Reigns, but it's really reminiscent to me of I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people, that's what it reminds me of. And that didn't really hit, and this isn't really hitting for me. Even if ultimately they were going to break up and have at least one-on-one match at WrestleMania. That has to happen. I feel like they deserve that. But they just did this wrong. It's a complete fumble as far as storyline progress goes. I'm just ready for them to really get over it, finish the storyline with the Bloodline, figure out what you're going to do with the Usos. Hopefully they do just make up after having a really good match and continue as a tag team. Even if they don't have anything else to do or any titles to win, they can still offer a floundering tag team division so much.
Mm-hmm.
They make great gatekeepers in the tag team division for however long they decide to wrestle. So that's really all that I'm hoping for. I feel like Corny Rhodes is past John Cena at this point. With the good guy act
did you say Corny Rhodes?
Corny Rhodes. I had to do it. It's his now. Right? That's simple. All right. It's getting old. The good guy act it's too good guy. It's way too face. He has no edge to him. He has nothing that makes me care about Cody Rhodes at all. I'm just sick of him being a good guy, man.
You're not feeling something Cody Rhodes anymore?
Nah.
What about the O? What about the O? You don't feel
everybody got an O now.
Whoa.
Right? Started with Shinsuke. They gave it to Seth. Who else they used to do? They do Sami Zayn. Ooh, they do everybody, all right?
It's everybody got an O.
Actually, in our defense, even Becky Lynch got it. Hey,
even Becky had the O. Everybody old now.
He's a long O or a short O. It's an O in there.
That's all that matters now. Everybody thinks so. You got an O, you in there. You win.
That's the key to these interest music.
That's the key. That's the key to getting over. All right, gotta be able to sing your theme song.
The key to getting over is the O in over. Okay.
Yep, in the theme song. People love to sing along. Right.
Can't spell O. Oh man, so with this, the whole thing with the Usos, there's multiple things that are going on. First and foremost, like what Harv said, like they deserve a one-on-one WrestleMania match. I think that's something that they always wanted to do, just have like that their own moment, because their whole thing with WrestleManias hasn't been, I don't think they have a good winning record. They don't have a winning record when it comes to WrestleMania matches as a tag team. So I think they just want their own moment with that. Secondly, I think the Bloodline thing, they're running out of ideas. And we're also coming to that slow point of PLEs right now, currently, because we just had Payback. Fastlane is coming up, not really a big pay-per-view. That'll be October. November is Survivor Series. Survivor Series is not really like a title versus title, but like a show versus show thing. Yeah. The next one should be Hell in a Cell, which should bring some promise, but not really. Then you probably expect Roman Reigns to pop back in and everything more be involved because Royal Rumble season at that time. So you got the Royal Rumble. Then after that is Elimination Chamber. Then you come to WrestleMania. So like looking at the shows that are leading up to this thing right now, it looks like it's gonna be some time off with the Bloodline pretty much. Jimmy probably gonna take some time off to be with his wife since she's not on the same show with him anymore. Roman Reigns taking off because he's Roman Reigns. And that just leaves, Paul Heyman, Solo, and Jay, and they just had this split. So like, Jay's still gonna work because he's not on that same type of deal like he is with Jimmy and Roman. So they try to figure out something to keep him busy. So try to build him up, I guess, a little bit more than have this little moment against Jim, his brother, the Royal Rumble. They get eliminated, something like that, lead to a match. That's how I see everything panning out. Like I said, I just think they just ran out of ideas right now. Bloodline, they're trying to take the minds off by doing other storylines, the fillers, try to uplift Judgment Day. They're trying to figure out things to do right now. So I think this is just a whole planning process since they got roughly 6 months until WrestleMania.
Yeah, that'll lead to March. Yeah, March.
So that's one thing. 6 months, shoot. It takes storylines to a whole month to start and conclude. So that's just my thing. It's just all over the place right now. I don't really get it, but here we are. And also Jimmy Uso's theme music is better than Jay Uso's theme music.
Yes,
so let's just get that out there right now.
Jimmy's is so much better.
Right. Even with the ad-lib part, Jimmy's ad-libs on his intro music was better than Jay's. Jay's work on a little bit more. I know you still got the same day one instinct. Make it flow a little bit better. That's all I'm saying. Harv, get him in the booth, help him out for a second.
I got you. You know what I'm saying? I can show him.
Cool. And with that is all the time we had. We didn't want to try to take y'all time. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for showing out and joining us on this bonus episode 77.5. But before we sign out, y'all got to do one some favor for us, and that is to follow us on all social media platforms. That is X, Instagram, and TikTok on KTR_podcast, No Rose Podcast, Facebook, YouTube, No Rose Podcast, all podcast platforms. Got Google Podcasts, got Spotify, got Anchor, got Apple Podcasts, got Podbean, on everything. And don't forget to get that merch at ProWrestlingTees.com/KTR podcast. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's get out this show. This is episode 77.5. Another Rose Podcast, #KTR, and we are out.
What should they do? Big Harv.
Bump those numbers, baby. On a holiday, 7.5.
That don't compute in my mind, I must be out of mind. Black fist high, rally up before we out of time.